I use madake bamboo from Japan. These root-end bamboo poles were harvested by my teacher in the 1980s. Bamboo of this quality is quite a find. I keep each piece of bamboo in its original form and create an instrument with all the natural blemishes and curves, a reminder of the conditions in which the bamboo came to life. I select the piece and start by cleaning out the root end of the bamboo in order to determine its usable part, which will also help me determine the potential length of the bamboo. This also helps me get a visual of the shape of the root end, as well as the overall shape of the instrument. I use a steel brush to gently remove any dirt remaining between the roots. Then I use a sharp knife to remove any protruding rootlets. I use the steel brush again, and as you can see, it clears out the root properly and nicely. I do the same thing on all the nodes. Of course, I'll be polishing the root towards the end of the making process. After determining where the center of the bamboo should be, I cut the bamboo at the top end at a slight oblique angle in order to form the slanted area that rests below the mouth. As you can see, I cut the bamboo from both sides in order not to cause a splinter. I open the top node according to the center of the utaguchi, and eventually I open the remaining nodes. I cut off the root end to reach a somewhat finalized length and positioning of the root. I use a hand drill with a 12mm bit to open the exit hole. Then I use a special grinder of about the same width to open and clear out what I think should be the minimal exit hole diameter, of course in ratio with the entrance hole diameter, which in this bamboo is 23.5 millimeters. Knowing this top diameter helps me determine other points of width throughout the bamboo. The three critical areas of interest are: number one, the inner wall diameter of the bamboo at the center of the instrument. Number two, the choke point, that's the narrowest area slightly below the first hole from the bottom. And the third point is the inner root shape, as well as the exit hole diameter. For most instruments I've made, I follow a diameter ratio of 90%, 80%, and 90% respectively of the top entrance hole diameter. And the root end is cone-shaped in its bore. I play out the bamboo even before shaping the obliquely cut edge in order to get an approximate idea of what pitch the instrument is likely to be at. Then I cut out the blowing edge. I like my slant to be at 25 degrees, which allows for higher response to breath and easier access to the advanced fingerings. Then I round off the rest area of the blowing edge, and I actually like to make a comfortable utaguchi in order to get a clear tuning of my bass note before opening the 5 holes. I try to get the clearest possible tone and determine the bass pitch, which means that I may need to slightly open up some of the nodes, as well as the exit hole of the bamboo, before proceeding to opening the 5 holes. Once my bass note is flowing somewhat smoothly, I map out the placement of the 5 holes on the bamboo. For hole placement, I have come to follow a combination of formulas, including my teachers, my own, and that of other makers I've interacted with. One thing that's for sure is that there's always room for a slight variation based on the bamboo shape, the inner bore width, and bamboo density. Then, once I have the location of the holes set, I hold the bamboo as if to play it, in order to determine the actual location of each hole. Because of the length and natural curvature of the bamboo, I may need to offset each hole in order to attain maximum comfort while playing. I put yellow masking tape on the finalized positions and get a feel for playing before drilling. Once finalized, I proceed to drilling the holes while making sure that the pitch is near accurate at each hole before opening the next one up. The first hole is the critical one, because getting that one positioned in the right place will most likely give you a reference point to calculate the position of the remaining holes. And there's nothing like getting it close enough. It's still an elating feeling, no matter how many times I've done it. I'm happy for sure. I can go on. Based on the accuracy of pitch of the first hole, I can proceed to opening the second hole. Then I check for tuning. Moving on to the third hole, I open it slightly smaller, allowing me to bring the third hole closer to the fourth for comfort of finger motion. Then I open the 4th and 5th holes with the 9mm bit. The 5th hole may also need to be slightly offset from the center in order to allow for maximum comfort while playing with the left hand on the top portion of the instrument. Although this instrument is designed for a player who plays with the left hand up, I have completed custom orders where I've actually selected bamboo and made the instrument according to a player who plays with the right hand up. After opening all the holes, I take my time to fully complete the utaguchi in order to play the instrument and check it for overall airflow equilibrium, relative tuning accuracy, and tonal characteristics. I'm using a variety of sandpaper grits to smooth out the surface that rests slightly below the mouth, as well as the slanted flat surface of the utaguchi. I use varying grits of sandpaper, from 60 all the way up to 2000. I've customized my own tools to help me shape the various areas of the blowing edge. And now the utaguchi is completed. I play the instrument and take some time to integrate the sound and determine the areas inside the bore that I'd like to slightly adjust in order to tune the instrument relatively to itself. In the meantime, I work on the root end as I process my thoughts. In order to attain a smoother airflow in the shakuhachi bore, one of the first things I may need to do is to open the bottom end of the instrument. I'm looking to reach a 90% opening in comparison with the opening at the entrance hole. One of the things I also need to do is to maintain a cone-shaped opening on the root end. So I do that using a cone-shaped tool that allows me to maintain the choke point of the instrument at 80%. And I play the instrument, and very noticeably you can tell from the swelling sound that the air is beginning to flow smoother. Then I move to opening the nodes, which in this instance is resulting in a smoother airflow from one chamber to the other. I play it some more, and this allows me to determine up to what width I can increase the size of each hole. And this process will also allow for better tuning and smoother airflow. I sand down the holes using the previously mentioned variety of sandpaper grits. I test out each hole and make sure that it's tuned accordingly. Then, once I feel the instrument is tuned to a satisfactory level, I work on other parts again to let the sound resonate within me and settle in while I finalize other parts of the instruments. I use the same sandpaper grits on the root. This step gives me time away from the instrument, and I'm able to further gather my thoughts on its current tuning. And to finish off the polishing, I use leather. In this instance, I completed the instrument in 2 sessions because of the filming. Normally, it takes me about 6 to 12 months to complete an instrument, because I like to go through all 4 seasons while playing and tuning the instrument before I make it available for delivery. It allows me to handle the instrument and fine-tune it as it adjusts to the different seasons, and to create the ideal instrument that is both in tune to, most importantly, itself, and has the airflow equilibrium throughout. Each bamboo is different and beautiful in and by itself, producing a unique instrument with unique tonal characteristics. I make shakuhachi through a process of reduction of mass from the inner bore in order to balance the airflow throughout the bamboo tube as the breath travels from one chamber to another. This type of shakuhachi is known as Ji-Nashi Shakuhachi, which basically means that no material was added to the bamboo in order to affect certain pressure points of air resistance to influence airflow equilibrium. So when you look through a Ji-Nashi Shakuhachi, you can actually still see the fibers in the inner lining wall of the bamboo. I am grateful to my teacher for teaching me Ji-Nashi Shakuhachi making, and for allowing me to access his stock of bamboo for making Chōmei Ji-Nashi Shakuhachi. And here is the finished instrument. My instruments are designed to magnify the player's breath in Honkyoku of the Watazumido style, as well as many other Honkyoku styles. So there are particular advanced fingerings and combinations that I need to make sure are functional on the instrument. Also, I need to make sure that sound can be produced in all 3 octaves, including the 3rd octave notes used in that particular style. I hope you enjoyed this process with me, and I invite you to play my instruments when the opportunity arises. Thank you for watching. Feel free to hit the subscribe button so as not to miss my future videos.